Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this evening's guest moderator from TV Line, Mike Ausiello, and tonight's guest, Zachary Levi.
I've always wanted to take over an Apple store. Give me all your goods. How's everybody doing? All right. Who's actually seen the movie already? Fantastic. So that might have been a waste of time for you. Excellent. I appreciate all the nerd gear I see. Thank you very much for buying that. If you haven't bought any, go to thenerdmachine.com immediately. Buy a shirt. Fantastic. Oh, hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hey, does everybody know Michael Ausiello, by the way? He's awesome.
Thank you. I'm going to take over now.
Take over.
First, I want to ask you, what was it like waking up this morning and seeing those box office numbers? for
Oh
Thor?
yeah, we're dominating the world. Or Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston are dominating the world. I'm helping with a little blonde goatee. It's incredible. It's it's no surprise to me. You know, Marvel's been making like the most giant Avengers. I think is still the #1 box office movie in the world, or something like that, and probably will be until the next one comes out. And this is the second Marvel flick to come out since then, right? I think it's Iron Man 3, and then now this, Thor 2, and Captain America's on its way. It'll probably shatter a bunch of records, and then so on and so forth. It's the way of the world. But yeah, it's like I think we did like 85 million domestically, and then the international cumulative is like, I don't know, 350. These numbers don't matter really. It's just so much freaking money that none of us will ever see. So don't worry about it. I won't see it. You won't see it. It's nice to think about though.
And you have a unique history with this project. You were originally cast as Fandral, and then you couldn't do it because of Chuck, correct?
Yeah. So yes.
A little show called Chuck. You've heard of it?
Yay that he wasn't cast the first time. I'm kidding. No, it was it was a very kind of circuitous kismet kind of a thing. I auditioned to play Fandral in the first one that Kenneth Branagh directed, and I was cast, and I was like beyond the moon, like over the moon, like I can't believe this is actually happening. And then kind of an embarrassment of riches, or champagne problems as they call them. Chuck was renewed for extra episodes that year. And there was just no way to slice it. I couldn't do both. And my contract with Chuck took precedent. So I went back to work there and made some more excellent episodes that I hope some of you Chuck fans out there appreciated. Thank you. And then Chuck came to an end. And then the next thing I know, a couple years later, and my agent says, hey, how would you like to take over the role of Fandral again? I said, quoi? Because that's all I know in French. That and no, which is helpful that it's also no. And she said, yeah, Josh Dallas who ended up playing the role in the first one and did a fantastic job. He's on Once Upon a Time, if you guys don't know that, and his schedule was conflicting with the sequel. And so I was like, this is so strange that my schedule conflicted and I couldn't play it, and now his schedule is conflicting and he can't play it. And Marvel, thank God, they were like, hey, we really enjoyed your almost performance the first time. Would you like to, kind of take over the reins, as it were? I said, yeah, let's go make a movie in London and work with, all these incredible people and like Sir Anthony Hopkins, which is so crazy, by the way. Let me tell you. He's like, call me Tony. That's what he says. He said, call me Tony. All right, Tony Anthony Hopkins. I don't know. How does that work? Sir Tony Anthony Hopkins. It's too long. So yeah, it was crazy. But I'm glad it all happened that way.
And what was the experience like making the movie in London? How long were you there?
I was there. Well, the filming was kind of over like a 5-month period. Filming was 4 months. I was there for about a month of rehearsal before that. Horseback riding training and fight training. A lot of the horseback riding did not make it into the movie, which is really unfortunate because I rode a lot of horse to be in that movie. But it was a great training anyway. I knew how to ride Western, but I never knew how to ride like English Spanish style, which is the way Asgardians ride, apparently. We ride British style on horses, and we all talk with English accents. That's what happens in Asgard. And so I did that for like a month, and that coincided with the Olympics, which was really amazing. So I got to go to a lot of Olympic stuff because NBC is, the America's coverage for the Olympics, and my alum, and they were very kind and gave me tickets to various things. And then we filmed for like 3 months. I got a break. I came home for a month, and then I went back for another month. And that was my experience. But getting to work with Chris and Tom and Natalie and Anthony and Jamie and Ray and Tad and the whole gang. It was weird though. Like I never I don't even know if I met Chris Eccleston even at the premiere. Like I never once, he's like the main guy, and I never once met him. But he did such a good job in the movie. If you guys have not seen the movie, everybody's fantastic. But Chris, I was just like, whoa, dude, that guy is evil. He is so good as an evil guy. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like Tim Curry in Legend. For whatever reason, he's kind of got that. You know what I'm talking about? Never mind. I'll move on. You got it. You get it. You totally get it, right? Like he's evil, but you love him. Yeah.
Will you be in a third one?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to make a third one because that's kind of what they've been doing. And this one seems to be doing well in the box office. So I'm assuming they're going to make a third one. And I would imagine. I hope that they would bring us back. I think it'd be really fun to do like a Warriors 3 movie. I think that would be a really fun kind of spin-off thing because I think the character. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Only because I think that Thor has so many great characters in it, and like Tad and Ray are so good. They're so talented, as is Jamie if they brought in Lady Sif as well. And Tad, a lot of people in the United States don't know Tadanobu Asano. Apparently he's like Brad Pitt in Japan. Like he's a giant star. And at the premiere in LA, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Tad, yeah, the guy who plays." But if like in Japan, I don't know if anybody saw any footage from like the Tokyo premiere, but they're like, "Oh my God, it's Brad Pitt." Basically, it's like he's so big. So I think it'd be amazing to work with those guys more and to do a third one. And if they ever found it in their crazy schemes to have us in the Avenger movies, I think that'd be pretty awesome too. I'll just swing through frame. Ha ha! And that's it. That's all. Just one frame. That's all I want. For Asgard. That's right. I was the only one who got to say that in the movie. That was like my tag. I was like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
What's going to hit theaters first, Thor 3 or the Chuck movie? No.
Thor 3. well, but for two reasons. One, it's going to take, if I can ever get a Chuck movie off the ground, it's going to take a minute. And I would like to do that. And it would definitely involve you guys. It would involve the fans. Yeah, there you go, buddy. There you go. It would involve.
You just gotta roll.
It would be, but I also don't think it would be a movie that you'd see in theaters necessarily. I love movie theaters, but I also love that we're kind of in a new day and age where basically every little monitor in this place can play your favorite movies. I mean, that's we have like incredible tablets and phones and computers, and technology is so incredible that I don't know that you need to spend the money that it takes to go and promote a movie, to put it in like major movie theaters, when you can cut your budget and put it on the screen and make it a better movie and just sell it directly to your fans. Like to me, that's a pretty awesome way to make a movie. If I can do that. If I can't do that, then that's a horrible idea and it never worked.
What do you have against movie theaters?
I have nothing against. Well, hang on a second. I have nothing against movie theaters. I love movie theaters. I do. By the way, especially for movies like this. I mean, to get that immersive feeling, especially with 3D, like home 3D is not quite there yet. I mean, these are major epic movies, but like to go see an indie movie, I don't know that I necessarily need to sit in a 200 person theater. Where, by the way, especially when you go to smaller theaters, even with a big indie movie, they're never really packed. You're sitting there with like 20 other people, and you're all kind of having a conversation, and they're all hipsters in Brooklyn. I mean, that's kind of how that's what it is. Thank you, I appreciate that. I will. I'll do it again. But still great. So I do love movie theaters. Please don't not hire me for movie theaters anymore.
I want to give a quick shout out for your current day job. Has anyone seen Zach on Broadway in First Date?
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. What's that? I'll see you Wednesday.
Oh,
I'm there after every show. Bring your playbill.
Wednesday.
It'll be cold, by
He's
the way.
out
I'm just
sick
telling you
Wednesday.
right now. It's very cold. Wear a scarf and some earmuffs.
How has that experience been? That's your first time doing 8 days, eight shows a week.
Yeah, first Broadway show, dream come true. I've always wanted to do Broadway. I grew up, since I was a little kid, doing theater and loving just live connection. Like a symbiotic relationship with an audience is so much fun. You know if you suck. You know if they're enjoying it or not, and how to improve as an entertainer. And you also really feel that connection and that life and that love, and it's like nothing else, And our show, if you haven't seen it, First Date, it's an hour and a half, no intermission, romantic comedy musical. It is like it's like a sitcom with music. That's basically what it is. And I play a character pretty similar to Chuck in some ways. And but because we have so many laughs in the show, and I love making people laugh, and the theater holds about 1,000 people or so. I mean, making 1,000 people laugh is the greatest drug in the world. There's nothing like it, and then to go out and spend time with people at the stage door afterwards, and and hear if they appreciated the show, and a lot of people come to the show because they watch Chuck or Tangled or a number of things that I've been a part of, and you get to feel that love, because when you go do movies and television, you're not connected to your fan base necessarily. You're not sitting in a movie theater hearing people's reactions to stuff. You're certainly not sitting in their home as they're watching a television show you're doing, or am I?
Craziest item you were asked to autograph at the stage door at your show?
I don't.
Have there been any?
No, nobody hands me babies and says, "Sign my baby." I'm waiting for that. So if anybody has a newborn,
Wednesday.
I don't know if I've ever. I've never signed anyone's breasts. I don't know. I've never done any of that stuff. People, it's typically like, "Hey, here's a poster or a DVD." What's that? Oh, never mind. Wednesday again. Was that what the joke? Oh, I see. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. I think people like me sign their phones. Which I don't know if that's crazy, but I do kind of find it odd. I don't know if I want anybody to sign my phone.
It's disturbing more than crazy.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's open it to some questions. Anybody have questions for Zach?
I'm a big fan of Tangled.
Oh, thank you very much.
For Thor and Tangled, what was it like being a part of Marvel and working with Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman? How did you develop the voice for Flynn Rider? And did you ever meet John Lasseter and Stan Lee?
Excellent questions. So it was amazing getting to work on Thor and working with all that talent. Like I said before, I mean, Chris and Tom, I consider them to be, buddies of sorts. Like we joked around a lot on set. I probably worked and Ray and Tad as well. But and I kind of knew Tom in passing a little bit before, and Natalie as well. Yeah, actually, I never really got to work with Natalie, because the only scene that I had with Natalie, she was knocked out in the skiff. Spoiler alert. And so we didn't really get to work together. But we exchanged hellos and whatnot on set, and she was incredibly lovely and gorgeous, and I'm very jealous of her husband. So there's that. And then the second one was Tangled, I believe. And how did I prepare for the role to do voice and develop the voice for Flynn Rider and Tangled? Well, originally the voice was I auditioned with a British accent. I actually auditioned very much with a Fandral the Dashing voice, and it was kind of part of the creative process and whatnot, and we kind of realized that they wanted it to be more of an American accent, and so then it ended up just being me, which was very convenient. And so that was that. And yes, and I've gotten to meet both John Lasseter and Stan Lee, who are two just mad geniuses, in my opinion. Obviously, Stan created and gave us so many incredible characters and relationships that have lasted decades and decades and decades and decades, and to be a part of that world that he created is just an incredible honor. And John Lasseter, I mean, I could go on for days about how much respect I have for John Lasseter. Has anybody here seen the Pixar story? It's a documentary about, yeah, you've seen it? It is fascinating. John Lasseter, basically, there was maybe no bigger Disney nut than John Lasseter. The guy ate, slept, breathed Disney, worked. He finally got his dream come true. He was working for Disney as an animator. Then he was directing. He was directing The Brave Little Toaster, and had the crazy notion of, why don't we start using computer graphics in animation? And they said, oh, that's great, John, you're fired. And essentially, and he was. And this guy who loved nothing but Disney, he worked at Disneyland. I mean, he worked there. He animated for them. And then he was done. His dream could have been dashed forever. And then he started working for Pixar and created such incredible art that Disney was like, oh, yeah, we'd like what you're doing. And now he runs Disney. And to me, I think that is just one of the most incredible stories of anyone ever, And there's a reason why he gets to run Disney now, and it's because he's great. He is so incredibly talented. He's so intelligent. He has made hit after hit after hit after hit, and it's not because he's sold out in any way. It's because he realized that storytelling, like Walt Disney knew early on, it's not about telling a kid's story, and it's not about telling an adult story. It's about telling a story that speaks to perhaps the child in all of us, and therefore, as an adult, you can watch Tangle and go, that's a really great movie. And there might be things that are over kids' heads that adults get, but kids are never without understanding what the story is, and it's such a great story, as is Toy Story and Finding Nemo I know they're all fantastic. So that's the very long-winded answer to yes, I've met John Lasseter and Stan Lee. Who's next? Yes, right over. Yeah.
These are the girls
These are
coming
Wednesday
Wednesday.
girls. Hi.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
How did you get involved with Operation Smile, and what's it been like raising funds for them?
Operation Smile, for those of you who don't know, I'm an ambassador for Operation Smile. They're an incredible organization who help people in developing countries, specifically mostly children, with free surgeries to help fix cleft lips and palates and other facial deformities and whatnot, and oral deformities, but mainly cleft lips and palates. And I've been working with them for about 6 years now, and I just am so blessed to be connected to that organization. I know them very well. Them as an organization they're very straightforward, good people, and they're fantastic. So if you have any more information about them, go to operationsmile.org. You'll get all the info you'd like. But essentially, as a celebrity or pseudo celebrity or quasi celebrity or whatever, you get invited to go do charity things all the time. A charity basketball game, a charity poker game, charity bowling. I've sang at some charity things, and occasionally they say, and we'll donate money to the charity of your choice, and I never had one. I would just kind of throw them to different ones, but I really wanted one. All my friends had a movement or a thing that they really, really cared about, and I was like, I just care too much about everything, I guess. I don't know. It's just very hard. When so many people are hurting in the world, how do you decide to choose one thing because you feel like you're neglecting everyone else? Or at least I did. And then I was singing at this thing, and I was going to make some money for charity, and I really, really, really wanted a charity of my choice. And I thought about it a lot, and I prayed about it a lot. And then, in 1 week, I saw 5 billboards and 5 commercials. I was just inundated with it, and I really felt like it was kind of God saying, hey, check this out. Look at this thing over here. And then as I did, and I thought about it more, I was like, wow, a smile, just a simple thing of a smile is so powerful. And that we all get to do that is incredibly powerful. And as a child, if you are embarrassed to smile, you might go out of your way not to enjoy life because that's the natural reaction to enjoying life. And a lot of these kids in these developing countries are considered pariahs. They're considered unclean. They're considered tainted, cursed, and they're not let out of their homes. They don't go wandering into the world and hanging out with other kids. And it just broke me. It broke my heart. I was like, man, not only have I lived a pretty healthy, normal life where I got to be a kid and enjoy it and had a great dentist and orthodontist and by the way, also a lot of us, almost all of us in the United States, you don't see, you might see a scar. Like Stacy Keach, you'll see his scar from when he was fixed, and he had his surgery when he was a kid, but in the United States, that's pretty much taken care of. If you're born with a cleft lip or palate, it's taken care of. In other countries, you see, there's holes in children's faces, and they'll live with that their whole lives. And I thought, that's just, if nothing else, I want to be able to give a child the ability to just be a child, and love and be loved and enjoy their life. And by the way, 1 in 10 of these kids, they die. That's the worst, maybe the worst part about it is that 1 in 10 will die from complications of infection, die of complications of malnutrition because their mothers can't suckle them properly. I mean, it's some gnarly stuff. So anyway, that's why I got involved with Operation Smile. And so anytime I do anything involving any kind of charity, I just say, hey, give to them. And if you get involved with them, or I encourage anyone at any time, if you're not involved with any kind of nonprofit, please find one. Please do it. We have such limited time on this earth to make an impact. We could die tomorrow, but if you can go and raise any bit of money for anybody while you're still on this planet, you're doing a good thing. So go do that, please.
And Zach, your Nerd HQ, often whenever they have an event, Operation Smile is the beneficiary.
Oh yeah. Well, Nerd HQ is my baby, so of course I'm gonna. And that was kind of a fun thing to stumble on because we were just trying to make it the coolest event we could, and just and bringing celebrities. And does
everyone know what Nerd HQ is?
If you guys don't know what Nerd HQ is thank you. It's you can go online. If you go to YouTube, you can see one of the main things we do at the Nerd Machine channel. You can see we do these things called Conversations for a Cause, which are basically they're panels. It's actually just about this size. It's like 250 people. And I get celebrities to come and just donate an hour of time with a fan Q&A. It's no moderator, no offense. And it's fans just asking questions for an hour. Tom Hiddleston was at the last HQ and literally impersonated Chris Evans, myself, and a Velociraptor. I mean, that's how much fun. That's how much fun we have at Nerd HQ. And every panel we sell the seats for $20 a pop, which is I think a very affordable price. And everybody can, it's a one bill, And so a sold out panel raises $5,000, and we did about 20. We raised $215,000 last year between the panels and Sure. Between the panels, and we also do I do photo ops. I did it at New York Comic Con. Literally just set up a photo booth and take pictures with people and, or sign things for charity for $20 a pop. I mean, I just, that stuff's easy. Just make people happy and simultaneously raise money to change people's lives. That's a win-win for me. So if you guys ever get a chance, come to Nerd HQ. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yes, over there.
Hey, first of all, thank you so much for doing this for us.
Oh my gosh, yeah!
Thank
you guys for showing up. I was a little terrified. I was like, is anybody actually going to come to this thing? It'll be me and Michael sitting on this. Anyway, yes, thank you. Yeah.
I'm a huge Zachary Levi fan. I think we share personal interests.
Yeah.
So I guess the projects you choose tend to resonate with me. Even like Shades of Grey, the thriller you did with Joel David Moore, those type of things.
Oh, Spiral, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Thanks.
Chuck, all that stuff. Which brings me to my question. I've seen First Date a few times, loved it. I'm wondering now that since it's been announced it's been canceled in January, do you have anything? What are your plans after that? What projects are you looking to go towards? Maybe going back west to LA, staying here. What's your plans?
Well, we're closing in January. We're not being
TV
canceled
shows,
in January.
TV shows are
my fault. I didn't mean to say that.
I'm kidding. It's a much more civil way of putting it, but you're not wrong. Yes, we are closing January 5th. So if anybody out there has not seen the show yet, please come. There's no time like the present. I don't know. I really wish I did know. It kind of weighs on me. As an actor, you kind of live this life of a gypsy of sorts, sometimes, and you don't know what the next step is going to be. I guess that's part of the thrill of it too. There's so many things I want to do in my life. I want to do more films. I want to do more television. I want to do more theater. I may stay in New York. I may do some more theater. I may go pop back to LA. I may go travel. I don't know. There's a lot of the world that I'd like to see. And again, I don't know when I'm going to die, so no time like the present. I mean, I just, it's carpe diem, I guess. Or, yeah. But I don't know. I want to do stuff that people like. That's, first and foremost, I don't want to waste my time making something that people are like, eh. I want to do something that that both fans really enjoy, that audiences really enjoy, but also that my peers, I watched Breaking Bad and I was so blown. Anybody Breaking Bad people?
Never heard of it.
Never. It's so good. It is so good, and it's so good on so many levels. I binge watched it. If I calculated correctly, based on Anthony Hopkins' letter to Bryan Cranston, I think he and I were binge watching at the exact same time. Me and Tony. But it is so good, and I was watching it going, I would love to do something that was so good that a Tony Hopkins would write me a letter, And by the way, I've felt so much love from the stuff that I have done in Tangled and Chuck and everything. I don't poo-poo that, if I could be so bold as to use a term like poo-poo. I don't poo-poo that. I appreciate that greatly. But I really would love to do stuff also that my peers or people that in the industry go, wow, I mean, that kid can act, So whatever that is, I don't know.
Why are you being so cagey about what you're doing next?
What are you trying to get me in trouble? I'm not doing. He's kidding.
I mean,
who's over here? Who's got the next one? Yes. Hi, Batman.
Hi, Zach. Okay. First, I have to say you did an amazing job indoors. So I have to give you a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I know you probably meet a lot of fangirls all over the world and probably here in New York, but there's actually one right over here. And if it is not too much sax, can she actually get a hug from you?
Can she get a hug from me?
Yes.
Come on, right up here. Come here right now. Come on, quick. Come here. Come right up these stairs. Give me a hug. My pleasure. See, she deserves a hug. She buys my merch. Thank you. My pleasure. Absolutely. Yes. Hi.
Hi. So you referenced Legend before. So let's say hypothetically someone wants to do a remake, which happens from time to time in Hollywood.
A remake of Legend?
A remake of anything from the 80s, like that, the Monster Squad, maybe something fun like that.
Gosh. Kick him in the nards. Wolfman's not got nards. Kick him anyway.
Very German guy.
Oh, the German guy. Monster Squad fans out there? Nobody? All right. We'll see. This is my thing about remakes. There are way too many of them, first of all. I'm not against the idea of a remake. I just think that people need to be smarter about it and more creative about it. And I think that we've gone through such a huge slew of remakes because people are kind of sitting around going, I don't have any more ideas. Let's go back to the vault and start screwing with stuff that you shouldn't screw with because it was really good the first time. There are certain criteria I have for remakes because I do think that there are occasions where it can arise and it's okay. I think that it needs to be something that's obscure enough that it's worth doing to get people to see it even for the first time. To that extent, I would make an argument for The Last Starfighter. I think The Last Starfighter would be a really fun movie to remake. It's a movie that I love, and I know that a lot of people in the kind of cult following for Last Starfighter really love, but a lot of people just don't know it. And so I go, well, maybe that's due a reboot, you know?
You're a nerd or a child of the 80s.
Oh, totally. Oh my God, The Last Starfighter is so good. The Death Blossom, come on, please. And I think that would be a fun role to play as well, you know, being my cyborg self. Ice Pirates, that's even more obscure. I don't know if anybody knows Ice Pirates, but it is crazy obscure, way campy 80s movie that I think would be super fun to remake. But then there's also movies like, and I know this is kind of blasphemy, so hear me out for a second, but It's a Wonderful Life. And the reason why,
You would kill that.
No. And the reason why, not because it needs any help as a movie. I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. But I think that because it's a black and white film, younger audiences just are not finding it, and they won't find it. And I think that's really tragic because I think it's literally just an incredible story that needs to be told and that people need to hear and see and feel about. And it's essentially, you know, all of us think of in these moments in our lives sometimes when we're dealing with such depression or hardship or whatever, you think, well, the world would be better off if I wasn't here. And it's not true. That's a lie. Don't ever think that. Don't ever let that creep into your heart or your mind. It's not true. And this movie really tackles that in an incredible way. And Jimmy Stewart is just like, you know, he's a god to me. Like, I just think he's incredible. So I think that would be a fun kind of movie to remake as well. But that's the criteria. Bringing something up to date so that younger audiences can find it, or just giving something a platform because nobody really saw it enough the first time around. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you just made me really happy by saying you're a Jimmy Stewart fan.
Yeah.
You should do It's a Wonderful Life on Broadway. Okay.
Oh.
Because they have a play.
No, that'd be pretty fun. No.
Don't do that. You're gonna. Okay.
I don't want plastics and I don't want ground floors and I'm never going to get married ever. Horrible.
You have no idea how happy that just made me. Okay. So my question is you've done a lot of work. You know, you just did battle scene like with Thor and green screen. So for you, what is the most challenging or what is the most fun type of scene to do?
You mean in film or just acting in general?
Acting in general.
It's kind of an impossible answer because it's all just so incredibly different. Performing live for a Broadway audience 8 shows a week is super intense and daunting and difficult in its own ways, but also incredibly fulfilling and rewarding in its own ways. As is doing a bunch of crazy stunts and green screen and fights and choreography and horseback riding. You know, that's all incredible too, and also very challenging. And television kind of sits right in the middle of all that stuff. So I don't know that I have a favorite. I think there's a reason why you see, you know, Julia Roberts and Anthony Hopkins and Daniel Craig and all these giant names that are constantly like doing big movies and then going and doing Broadway. It's because it feeds different parts of your soul and your talent and keeps you on edge. You know, keeps your instrument sharp. And so I enjoy it and it challenges me, all of it. Yeah. Oh yes, in the back there. Yes.
Hi, Zach.
Hey, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
How many times have you come and seen the show now?
4 times.
4 times. He's coming to first date 4 times.
Wow.
Good man.
So something that I adore about you as a fan since the Kip Step days is your entrepreneurial spirit, both artistically and business-wise. On every night, on first date, they always update the jokes. It's always fresh. They come with even higher energy than the previous nights that I've seen. But also from a business standpoint, in your latest Google Hangout, you mentioned that one of your ideas was to create the studio that would be promoting independent projects.
Yeah.
I was wondering at what stage, to the extent that you can tell, of course, because I'm assuming some of the information is proprietary.
Yeah.
At what stage are you? What kind of partnerships and what industries would you look forward to bring that idea? Because it would be really great. And the second part to it, since we're talking corporate business, one of the ideas that you support is conscientious capitalism. And how do you think that ties into the world where more and more business school articles are coming out on corporations saving the world, and how your upcoming project will hopefully tie to that? Thank you.
Yes.
Wow, this got deep.
That was bad. No, I'm kidding. Excellent question. I can't really go into the first one, but I'm working with certain tech companies in. I believe that studios are they're kind of too full. I did this Google Hangout and I talked about how I basically, and it's kind of a dream. I've always wanted to be a studio head. I've always wanted to kind of have my own studio. Still be acting and directing and producing, but having a bigger kind of picture. I mean, one of the things, I'm so jealous of like Kevin Feige because he gets to really, and he's so smartly done this, he's done what the comics always did. He's brought all the worlds together. And I don't know why people don't do that more. If I ran NBC, for example, I would have had all the shows on different nights all intertwined with one another. I would have had, I would have tried anyway, but like, I would have tried to get shows together that all could have lived in each other's universe and like had little crossovers and stuff, so that like as a fan of Heroes, if you didn't necessarily watch Chuck, but all of a sudden Chuck or Sarah or somebody popped up in Heroes, you go, oh, wow, that's a kind of they're from this show, and then you could try them back there, and you would have simultaneously you'd have a crossover from Heroes into Chuck or one of the other various shows that we got paired with over the years. I just think that that's an extra level of thought that you can put into something that really pays dividends, and I'm so grateful that Marvel does that. But at any rate, but the nice thing about studios now is that you can kind of have your own studio if it's an online. Everybody can have a studio. I mean, what online has allowed us to do, everyone can produce, distribute, and market their own content. Anybody can. Now, to what level of success you can reach with that's completely another question, but you can still do it if you so choose. And not even 10 years ago, you couldn't really do that. Before social networking, you couldn't market it really. You could produce and distribute it online, and then before you really had online, you could maybe produce it, but it wasn't going to be that good, and you couldn't distribute it because there wasn't an online way to do that. So we finally have that like trifecta of an independent studio online, and I want to take that and I want to run with it, and I want to go make my own stuff with my friends in really, really cool ways at great levels, and then have a philanthropic component to it, going to your conscientious capitalism. I don't see a reason why we can't, like every company can't just have some kind of a proceed, some kind of a portion, some kind of a thing where you just incentivize people more. And I think you incentivize the people working for your company, and you incentivize the people that patronize your company. And you go, wow, we're doing something good. And it's a very simple, it's a little thing. But I think what it really takes is just people loosening their stranglehold on dividends just a little bit. It's go and make billions of dollars. Go change the world. Go own yachts and mansions. Do whatever the heck you want to do. I love capitalism. I think it's a good thing when it's done correctly. If it's not done correctly, it can kill people, as many other idioms and all those things can as well. But yeah, so help people while you're making money. It's a good idea, I think. Yes, over there.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you guys.
So we were talking about remakes earlier.
Yeah.
And you've already originated a role on Broadway. So is there like a dream role or one you'd love to tackle now?
Annie.
Solid choice.
I joked about that the other day on Twitter. I don't know. Honestly, I don't, and this is really, it's kind of sacrilege. I don't know that much Broadway. I grew up doing the theater that I did, and that was the theater that I knew. I loved playing Huck in Big River. If I wasn't 6'4", I'd probably go for that again. I think that's a great role. I played Jesus in Godspell. That was a great role, but they just did that. So I don't know. Krista and I have joked about that Bye Bye Birdie would be fun. Because that's another show that I did and I know. But they just redid that. So I got to find a show that I know that they haven't just redone. That would help. But I don't know. There's a lot of original stuff. I want to do another original show, if it's possible. Bless you. You're welcome. So yeah, I don't know. But I definitely want to do more theater. I don't know what that's going to be, but I hope you guys come to it if I do it. I hope that happens. Thank you. Don't clap now. It could suck. You don't know. It could be horrible. Birthday girl. Let's get a mic down to birthday girl here.
She's gonna want something.
If that is your real name.
She's gonna want a hug or something.
It is my birthday. So my question for you is quite serious. If you could vacation in any fictional world, including Asgard, Star Wars Galaxy, etc., what would you pick and why?
Fictional world. I don't know that I need a fictional world. Let's go to Hawaii, babe. I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know. I really don't know. I'd probably somewhere tropical. Cause I just think clothes are a pain in the ass. Really, I just think if I could live somewhere where I could wear board shorts and that's it for the rest of my life, that's pretty much what I would do. So Fiji, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, I don't know, somewhere where it's nice and people are chill. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Yoshi. I'm Japanese.
Hi.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And
Can you attest, is Tadanebo Asano a really big star in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So.
See?
Yeah.
Not lying.
But to me, you're Brad Pitt.
What's that? Oh,
to me,
I'm Brad Pitt to you?
Yeah.
Take that, Tad.
No.
Thank you very much.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
First, I remember you did TV show called Almost Perfect.
Oh,
right?
less than perfect. Yeah.
Less than perfect.
Yeah. A lot of people call it almost perfect. That's why we didn't last.
Yeah. Then I was thinking, you are too good looking for the supporting role,
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. But then my question, you did Chuck. I love Chuck.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. It's over.
Well, 5 years was a good run. It was a good run. It was longer than a lot of other shows get.
My friend told me, actually, third season was, ended, but somebody paid the money, so you made 2 more seasons?
Well, kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. But they ended up keeping us around.
My question, you kind of like a nerdy guy? So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you also did action scene too. So which one are you, like you're a nerdy guy or action guy? Then also, sorry. Then you did blonde hair, right, in this movie. Did you like it?
Oh, did I like long hair?
Yeah, you did the blonde hair. Yeah, I want to say that. Thank you.
You're very entertaining.
I didn't see
I'm a little bit of both.
Sorry, I didn't see this movie.
Oh, no, it's okay, it's okay.
Maybe later.
So I'm a little, at the Nerd Machine, at my website, the Nerd Machine, I have various quotes there, and one of them is, I think everyone is a nerd. So I don't know that anyone, no matter how macho you are, you're still a nerd, because I believe being a nerd just means you're passionate about something. And I'm trying to redefine that for people, because I think that there's way too much vitriol and negativity around words like nerd and geek and whatever. And by the way, that's so passé. Like, nerds have taken over the world, so deal with it, people. So there's that. But I do believe everyone's nerdy. If you're passionate about basketball, you're a basketball nerd. If you're passionate about cars, you're a car nerd. I happen to be nerdy about the very stereotypical nerdy things. I like video games and comic books and sci-fi movies and stuff like that. But I also like kicking ass and taking names. I like swinging swords and shooting guns and playing basketball or whatever you want to apply to a macho kind of stereotype. So a little bit of both in that regard. And then the long hair. That's right. It was fun. It was fun being blonde. That was very different. For the first month, I would wake up and look at my, go to brush my teeth in the morning. I was like, well, who's that person? Who's that person staring back at me? And it was me, oddly enough. But yeah, it was fun with that, and I was actually blonde. So what happened was my hair wasn't long enough. It was a wig, but I had to be. Well, I didn't have to be, but it helped that I was blonde underneath the wig to help with the roots and all that stuff. But also just so in my regular day-to-day life, I didn't look like a crazy person because I had bleached eyebrows and facial hair, so if I was all bleached and then brown hair, I just look crazy. Although I was living in London, so who knows? Everybody's kind of groovy. I was blonde, wearing a blonde wig, and it was cool and different. And I think honestly, one of the coolest things is I'll go through Twitter on my feed and I'll see people saying, "I just watched all of Thor and I didn't know it was you until the credits," and I go, "Awesome, that's awesome," because I look at guys like Gary Oldman or Sam Rockwell, and I love being able to see these incredible talents, seriously, and they're so good at just melting away into a character that you don't even necessarily know it's them or need to know that it's them, and then you go, oh my gosh, that's right, that was Sam Rockwell doing that, that was Gary Oldman doing that. I mean, I remember in Hannibal, Gary Oldman, if anybody you guys remember, he was literally wearing prosthetic that he was that mangled face with the little he had a spray thing that went into his eye because he couldn't blink his eye, and that was Gary Oldman, and everything he does, he gets weird hair or some prosthetic or nose or whatever, and from an acting standpoint, you can really kind of jump into a character that much more, the more different you are. So,
Hello.
hi.
First date was great, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming.
So my question is, you talk about in all of your interviews your bucket list, and you say that now you've ticked off Broadway and you've the comic book movies and doing Disney prints.
Yeah.
What is next on your bucket list, either personally or professionally?
I also joked about this on Twitter, but President of the United States of America, I think, would be a pretty. I don't know. Although politics do. This is such a cliche thing for an actor to say. I'm going to get into politics. I don't know. I really care about people, and I care about the world, and I know that there's some people out there fighting on Capitol Hill, but I think there's a lot of just nonsense out there, and I think the thing more than anything, I crave, whether it's me or somebody else, I crave for people of just integrity. Just people who are honest, even if it means that they might lose votes. Just say, hey, this is what I think, and this is what I stand for. And at least I'm being honest, and I'm not selling you a bill of goods and then spinning it around after you put me into office. And I feel like we've dealt with that for way too long. And I really want people in there. And I guess to an extent, I believe that I'm somebody. I stand on principles, almost to my own detriment. Like I have rules at stage door. Anybody who's come to first date, like I only take pictures and sign playbills for people who actually came to the show. If you find me anywhere else in New York and you stop me, I'll sign something for you. I'll take a picture. But I have to have certain rules in place because people like jump the line or they'll come in or whatever. And it's like, and I'm spending time with those people then. And I've had people walk off calling me all sorts of manner of names because they think I'm a jerk because I won't just drop everything to take a picture with them right then. I'm like, I'm sad for you. I'm sad for you that you don't know me better or even take the time to know me better. You know what I mean? Anyway, I say that only to the point of like, I'm not afraid to offend somebody to stand for something that I believe in, I suppose. And I wish more politicians would do that. But sure, I really am excellent. But as far as the bucket list stuff, keep changing the world, keep making the world a better place, however I can do that. Through business and through philanthropy, and hopefully, a combination of the two. Keep empowering people, giving you guys the entertainment and art that you so want, and cutting out all the nonsense and the middlemen that think they know what you want but don't really know what you want. And go to space. That'd be pretty fun. Unless it's a gravity situation that no. Holy crap, that was an amazing, intense movie. I would like to star in a comic book movie. I would like to do that. I would like to have a meteor role in a comic book movie and just have badass powers. Whatever those are. Flight, fine, cool. Teleportation, being Deadpool would be awesome. Somebody might have his name on that already. Yeah, I don't know. All that, I guess. Yeah. Do we got time for one more? Even one more? No, just one more? No? Is it none? No, we don't. I'm so sorry. We don't. No more. Sorry.
Thanks, guys, for coming. Let's thank Zach.
Thank you guys so much.
Applause.